Hello guys, Matt here from DCLblog.com. NFT update 18th. 18th. It's actually the 19th here in Australia, but it's the 18th in the majority of the world. So, alright, we've had some pretty big announcements recently, last 24 hours, and we're kind of starting to move a little bit in the mainstream. So let's kind of go through what's been happening. Blankos Block Party. It's a very anticipated game by Mythic, Play Mythical. So Mythic Games, I think they're responsible for. They've got some leads that are coming from big gaming backgrounds and making it this really fluid kind of AAA style gameplay where you can have different characters, buy skins, trade those skins, play, looks like virtual experiences. It's pretty fun. So the beta was live, it was made live on November the 18th, and a bunch of people started to share like images and videos of what they were doing. This was a cute video here. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Yeah. Yeah, well, it looks pretty fluid, like I said, and I think the concept is to own these, I forgot, what are they called? These kind of boxed gay items, people collect them, I forgot what they're called, but it seems to go a similar kind of way, but a more digital fashion, digital way to do it, and I think they're all going to be NFTs eventually, but at the moment, when you buy them, it seems like you can't really pull your money out in the sense that you can buy these founders packs, you can buy like you could have bought like these early NFTs, early packs, and apparently just said this, just dropped 4K on Blankos. I'm not sure what I just received apart from character skins, probably not my smartest move. So they look cool. I mean, everyone in the comments was saying they look really cool. I'm yet to download the game and play the game, but it seems like currently there is no secondary market. If you buy them, you can't really sell them at the moment. But it looks like the secondary market's in the plans, because if you go and read the AMA, they say, so it says this wallet NFT is stored in the custodial wallets for the time being. I think that what that means is everyone's purchases are stored in the same wallet until they roll out a secondary market. No plans for Blankos governance token, so there's probably no plans for an ERC20 hardware wallet. I don't know. So it's all running on EOS. People don't like EOS, but at the end of the day, looks like people don't care anymore because the game's good enough, and that's where we're kind of transitioning into this. It doesn't matter what chain you're on; it just matters about the game, the gameplay, and where the community is at. So money's going to stop being an issue, where people are kind of going to be more interested to play the game, because popular games people play not because they want to be incentivized, because they love playing 8 to 10 hours with their friends or even by themselves, and they have a lot of fun with it. So the fun appeal has to be prioritized number one, and it seems like Blankos is going to go in that direction, where it's going to be like one of the first games that doesn't really start off with trying to build an economy, but more a fun experience. I know Blankos has been in production for like 2-3 years now, 2+ years. So that's why I think like 2021 is going to be a big deal, because this is where a lot of these games that were in development are going to come to that maturity level where there's going to be pretty cool games to kind of play. So that's that. Corey Van Loo, who is an artist that I purchased work from quite early, he announced that Disney and Pixar collaborate with Black artists for the new Soul-inspired collection. So it's pretty cool. Announced that his artwork, this piece here, and I can tell by the style, is I think one of 4 commissioned or artwork that was chosen to represent Disney's first black lead character. So I believe that's what it was about. So if you read here, featuring Pixar's first ever black lead character, Joe Gardner, who is this guy, and you can see like multiple artworks that has been done to where are we? Oh man, these pop-ups these days on these articles, they're the worst. Can't even read, especially when you're on mobile, you can't even read them without like 50 pop-ups, and each one having like 10 ads. Anyway, so yeah, his artwork was one of the 4, I believe, that were chosen to represent and kind of make like an artwork featured officially on the Disney page, relating to the lead character. So that's pretty cool, and I pointed this out is because as a collector, right, one, you collect it because you love the art. 2, you collect it because you want to be part of that artist's journey. So it's kind of like if you want to buy cryptocurrency, and I kind of hate making the analogy of cryptocurrency similar to artwork, but we're in crypto, so whatever. This is kind of how it kind of works. But when you buy like cryptocurrency, right, in a project, well, you're invested in the project. However good the project does, you got a piece of that pie, and you support the project. You want to see, you bring some partnerships if you can. You tell your friends about it, etc. And no matter how good the project does, like even if you have some Amazon stock, if Amazon starts to do really, really well, you're an early investor. So it's kind of like that with artists, where the avenue to invest in their career is through their artwork. So if you buy the artwork, their career blows up and they start to be kind of like a lot of collectors start to desire ownership of their artwork. Well, then slowly, the previous artworks will go up in value, because as the next one sells for like 10, 20, 30, $50,000, then you can start selling yours earlier pieces that you bought for like $1,000 or $2,000 for $30 to $40, $50,000. So that's kind of how it works as a collector or an investor, purely investor. As a collector, people don't even care about selling it. They just like hold it because they just love to be connected to an artist. So for me, it was a really cool announcement, and it kind of highlighted how, like, on the ground floor, when you get into collecting or investing in an artist or whatever you want to call it, you are invested in their career. So as the career progresses, so does your kind of investment, your interest into the particular artist and stuff like that. So yeah, this is his super account. You can follow him, but there's a lot of artists who are doing really good work that will probably go to be like really, really big artists in their field and do a lot of work upcoming. So Justin Bieber also announced this, which was his
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
His announcement using the Genie avatars to announce his next Christmas album. Now, I like the concept of Genie avatars, but I can't say this looks like Justin Bieber. There's an attempt, but I'm sorry, I mean, it doesn't look like Justin Bieber. I think it could be cooler, but I like what's being done. And the reason why I brought this up is because Genie announced a partnership with Dapper Labs, and Dapper Labs are going to be bringing these genies on chain. And now this little quote here was really, really interesting from Akash Nigam, I think his name is. Bieber could, for example, issue a certain amount of signed Santa hats with his Christmas album announcement. So traditionally, I think how it works is like, artists or people that announce something, they say, hey, like we're going to run a competition, you get 100 free albums, or you get 100 free tickets, etc. Now, NFTs are a great reward structure, because the collectability, the ownership of them are strong. I mean, people have spent like hundreds of millions of dollars collectively in wanting to own NFTs. So bringing that into the real world, so like now with the digital space, if people, if Bieber releases, say, like they just said, 100 Santa hats, and that was to commemorate his album launch. Now suddenly there's a limit, that there's 100 Santa hats that each are an NFT that fans want, because maybe in the future you can use them, and maybe Bieber would be like, well, whoever was the first, whoever got the Santa hats, they're going to be eligible for free tickets in my next show, and he can keep providing value to those NFT holders. Not to mention, that's his first set of NFTs. So if he releases, it reminds me of like RuneScape party hats, where they were like, not the first, but like they were a big event, significant event, but there was a cap to them. They were very rare. And then they increased significantly in value as the community wanted them. So imagine if, you bring that to the NFT space, and Justin Bieber releases his Christmas hats, and there's 100 of them in circulation. They're the first ever kind of mainstream artists, NFTs to hit the blockchain. I would love to freaking own one of them. Because if NFT space blows up, if, Justin Bieber blows up, and suddenly people, want to collect all of his stuff, there's this very rare, original, first ever release that are out there in circulation, and hell yeah, I'd want one of them. So for me, this is huge. This is a big deal for me, because my entrance into the NFT space was that, all right, let's help build it, because once it becomes big, once it goes to mainstream, global money starts to come in, and artists like Justin Bieber, whoever they want to be, like big name artists, start to throw these NFTs around, and the secondary market starts to go nuts. There's going to be massive economies that are using this space. So billions of dollars will flow in and out of this daily, in my opinion. So if you understand how to navigate yourself around that, there's a ton of money to be made. There's a ton of opportunity. So yeah, and then lastly we had voice chat from Decentraland kind of announced, and me and Frankie were running around playing with this for a bit. I don't know if you guys saw it. Bitcoin at 18K, that's crazy. Where are we? Yeah. So
The character in that area, but you knew
this is
everybody
in
was
world.
there. So you knew that, like.
So I'm not on Zoom or anything. I'm
instead of
actually
the chat,
in
I mean, it's
DCL.
literally a voice version of that.
And the further I go,
Yeah.
the quieter Frankie gets.
Can you hear me now?
Like, I could just, yeah, I could see you.
So if he runs closer to me,
hear you and
it
you're
gets
like
louder, etc.
50 meters away.
But it's cool because like the way you use it is like you keep your finger on the T button and then it whoops, where are we? Not this. Keep your finger on the T button and then it pops up the mic, or you can press Alt T, I think, and it freezes it so you can talk consistently. And it was really good. I mean, me and Frankie were there for like 2 hours just walking around, and made DCL look completely different, made it look a lot bigger, because now we could look at something and talk about it. So we could walk into a gallery and be like, hey, I like this art piece. What do you think about this? Oh, did you see this artist? Blah, blah, blah. And it made the discoverability of the DCL space a lot more stronger suddenly. And I can imagine like the onboarding could be easier. We could have dedicated people that hang around Genesis 00 and talk about like when new people come up, you can be like, hey, welcome to DCL. What would you like to do? Press T to do this, blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of educate people, take them around, kind of like ambassadors that live within DCL, probably have virtual jobs. But I found it pretty interesting, and it kind of made me look at DCL from a different perspective. And the voice chat in DCL is different to any other voice chat. It is a very important distinction, because Decentraland aim to be a decentralized project in the sense of they aim to do things in a way that one lasts forever and moves away from centralized authority. And so for those that don't know, like DCL is actually hosted by community servers. So if Decentraland, there's no kill switch in DCL. DCL can't be like, well, servers are down, we're going to off it for an hour because of maintenance. Can't do that. There's no way to do that because it's run at multiple instances across multiple servers. So if one person closes it, it's running on you'll go to someone else's server. It'll always be there, and each person will kind of communicate on different servers. So it's crazy like how that works. But the voice chat as well, it's peer-to-peer. It's direct peer-to-peer. It doesn't move through DCL servers or anyone's. It goes directly from me to Frankie, or the communication does. So the way I understand it is that you can't like Big Brother style record it in your server. So if I'm running a server node or whatever it is, and I can't just record everything that happens in the server or listen into people, because the communication is happening peer-to-peer. So this is a very big distinction, and I don't think any other project uses this. They had an article about this before. I can't find it. It was like a year ago, somewhere deep within their technical updates. I'm going to try to get them to publish something about it, because it's a big deal. You can imagine like people that want freedom of speech, they want to go to a place where they can chat freely and not be spied on. Well, DCL can be one of those avenues. So maybe something political, maybe something secretive, maybe you're doing a deal, whatever it is. Well, you can jump into DCL and do it, and it's not through something like WhatsApp, for example. It says encryption, but at the end of the day, WhatsApp, Facebook, like if you have messenger conversations, a lot of that, at the end they can be leaked. Someone can listen into them, data can be sold. But in this instance, I don't think that's not the case, right? So for me, that's a huge distinction with what the chat is, voice chat in DCL, and it also works pretty well too. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for this round. 24 hours. I think something else. Oh yeah, so Ferocious and Jonathan Wolf released their podcast, which is really cool, and I think that's also very necessary. Another reason why I love how artists are kind of progressing their careers, right? They're making podcasts, maybe they'll do a show on TV one day. But it's great to see an art podcast, because crypto is one thing, then artists are a separate thing. And it's kind of emerging that's happening at the moment, but there's a lot of difference in ideologies that come. Cryptocurrency is a lot about like money and investing and like where it's going to go to. And art is a little bit slower, right? It's a lot of realization about what you want to do, and whether people accept it or not, who cares? Like there's no like rules to it. And it's fun and it's exciting, and people do it for just like, an escape, and kind of, they just love drawing and doing art. So it's good that the community. I feel like the art community needs to be strong like this, and have people that do podcasts and have communities and hang out and talk art, because it's like we're all one big family, but it's like it's a separate beast in my opinion. Talking about podcasts, and this is the last one I will bring up, is I released a podcast too today. Last 12 hours. Got my cover art done. It's called We Came From the Future, and I'm going to be talking about, like, I'm going to be interviewing people that have, well, originally it was going to be people that have made a ton of money with NFTs, or have invested very heavily into a certain element of NFTs. So kind of like breaking down why they did that. What was the investment methodology? Did you make money? Did you lose money? Mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But in the NFT industry is now growing much bigger. So we got like artists. I'm going to bring some artists on board. People that are pushing some tech boundaries, going to bring them on board, because the tech is really cool in this space. It's not just NFTs that connect to an art piece. There's also on-chain data where everything's kind of stored on the chain, so it can never be lost or kind of deleted. Doesn't rely on any servers. And then the NFT space is also deep, where you can kind of split NFTs, you can attach multiple NFTs to one NFT. So it's like all this stuff you can do, right? So at some stage I'm going to be interviewing people that are doing really cool stuff, and I think are kind of pioneering it. And the concept of the art was we came from the future. So I have actually I have a hoodie that says we came from the future, and it was a pretty cheap hoodie, and I didn't think much of it when I bought it. But like the more I kind of got into blockchain and NFTs and this space, I just realized, well, sometimes when I talk with my friends and people in this space, no one really knows what the hell I'm talking about. And I feel like a lot of people in this space kind of go through the same thing, where no one really knows what you're talking about. So it's kind of like, we're so ahead in the future with this tech. What can be done? We're living in this age where like everything's new, but we know it's going to be something big. So that's the reason why we came from the future. I love the Anon mask, and these shooting stars, they point like, it's kind of like mooning or rocketing away. And who knows where it will end up. Is like no limit to how far it can go. So a little bit of a fun kind of experiment. I put this together. I didn't do this; another artist did, but it was really cool that this kind of came together like this. So I'm dropping my first episode hopefully in the next 2 to 3 hours, and it's going to be whale sharks. I don't want to spoil it too much, but whale shark, pretty big investor, and he collectively runs a whale community. And they own like millions of dollars worth of NFTs. So a very early investor in the art space, kind of pioneered the art space to a certain degree in the crypto voxels, digital land space, and kind of made it a lot of what it is today. So let's talk. I'm going to drop that. It was a great conversation. I think you guys will enjoy it. Let me know how you guys go on the podcast if you want to jump in and talk. But we will connect again tomorrow.